Hey everybody, what is up? Welcome back to Final Trade. We're going to take a look at Lord of the Rings set box sales data off of TCG Player for the pre-release period and release day, which was last Friday. Through that whole period, it sold 3,502 boxes on TCG Player for a total of $602,000, making an average box price of $172. Now, the most interesting thing to compare this with, sadly, is a standard set, but I think there's some interesting conclusions to be drawn here. So if we put Phyrexia set boxes up against these Lord of the Rings set boxes, we see that Lord of the Rings only barely edged out a win on number of boxes sold. So Lord of the Rings sold about 7% more boxes than Phyrexia did for the set boxes, but it did so at a higher price, and so the total sale was much higher. It was 51% higher in terms of number of dollars spent on Lord of the Rings set boxes over Phyrexia set boxes. And what this really underlines to me, a couple of conclusions I think we can draw from this. One is that about the same number of people were probably interested in buying those boxes, which is really interesting. The number of people willing to buy just a regular standard set boxes was about the same as what was willing to buy Lord of the Rings set boxes. I would not have guessed that. I would have bet that the number of boxes would have sold a lot better, not just the number of dollars. But when we think about the number of dollars, what that tells us is that the buyers were fairly price insensitive. They wanted the boxes and they were willing to pay the money for them. But the fact that Lord of the Rings set boxes only beat out a standard expansion set boxes by this kind of margin, and it wasn't the blow off top runaway hit like the collector boxes of Lord of the Rings were, tells me that a lot of those collector box sales were just driven by that FOMO for the 101 ring, the potential lottery chance of getting a card that has a $2 million bounty on it. And so people were just basically hysterically FOMOing into the collector boxes, and we did not see that carry over into the set boxes. So what does this mean long-term for the Lord of the Rings set? You know, I think it's still going to do fine long-term. It's a half premium price set. I think that even once the ring is found and nobody cares about the hoopla about it anymore, the set itself will still be fine. People will enjoy it for years to come, and it will still have wide appeal to Tolkien fans who do not necessarily play Magic all the time, and it will have that appeal on the long timeline. So I think these are fine boxes to buy. I think the draft boxes are fine too. The collector boxes are fine once the ring is found and the collector box prices plummet, or once the special edition collector boxes are released this November. But it's interesting to see that the FOMO for the 101 ring is really what carried the collector boxes so far ahead, more so than simply just being Lord of the Rings. Just being Lord of the Rings was only enough to make it beat a standard set by about 50%, which is not really great performance. So we are going to, surprise, be getting a bonus buck sale on sealed product this Friday. My patrons already have a post up over on Patreon beginning to talk about what I am buying, good deals that I'm seeing. I'll be updating that post for all my patrons all the way through Thursday night. So if you're a patron, go over and look at that. If you're not a patron, it's $4 a month. You get all kinds of information from me, and I will always answer your questions, which I cannot do on YouTube. Let me know what you think, guys. Interesting data. There will be more to come in a few weeks for the 30-day post-release on the collector box and beyond. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Join me on Final Trade.